Yo, what up, man? Chris, I'm about checking back in, man. Back with the blog, man. Make sure that like button, that subscribe button your way, and I appreciate all the support, man. Happy New Year to everybody, man. Appreciate all the support, man. Appreciate all the support. Want to talk about this Thug situation. Y'all know he about to start trial. I think next week or something. They're doing jury selection and all that kind of stuff. So stuff is moved pretty fast, man. Got a whole bunch of witnesses, over 100 witnesses, and people, obviously people snitching, people telling, doing the whole thing.
I'm never gonna go against the grain. I'm never gonna be the one turn on my brother when police just gotta detain.
Cap.
This kind of case has been a little bit fascinating to me, and I actually called my lawyer. I was trying to get some clarity about like some of the stuff and terminology and stuff that I was hearing, and he told me that his friend is one of Thug's lawyers. He was like, yo, one of my friends is actually a lawyer for Thug. You know, when you're a celebrity and stuff, a lot of times you have like multiple lawyers. So he's really connected to the case. He really knows a lot about the case. And it's just kind of crazy about, you know, everything that's going on. And when I look at some of these plea deals, man, I'm just like, I can't believe they're giving out 30 years probation. There's a couple things in this world that's like really unfair to me. And one of them is like insurance. So let me get this straight. I'm going to pay you all this money in case some shit happens. So if shit don't happen, do I get my money back? No, insurance company's one of the biggest ripoffs, man. Definitely one of the biggest ripoffs. And then even to file a claim, they send you through a whole bunch of hoops and all this kind of stuff. They're already taking your money. And I mean, I understand like medical and dental because you go see those people yearly and sometimes more than once a year. But as far as like flood insurance and renter's insurance and car insurance and all that, you paying in case shit happen. And if shit don't happen, I don't get my money back. So insurance companies are kind of like raking in the dough. Another thing is probation, man. It's just another way to keep minorities in the system. You know, I don't want to just say minorities because there are white people and other races that are, you know, on probation or whatever, but it really affects a lot of minorities. A lot of people, you know, get caught with some type of probation, and it's almost hard to get a plea. You hardly ever hear people getting a plea without probation. Like if somebody was to offer you a 5-year prison sentence, or you could get out now and have 30 years probation, you might really need to consider the prison sentence, especially if it was just going to be straight and no probation. Because let's just say you went to prison, got out in 3 years on good behavior and had no more probation versus 30 years of probation. Like that stuff haunts you, man. It's so many people I saw locked up, man, with probation. It's crazy. Like, you can't do nothing. Obviously, you can't smoke weed. Definitely can't smoke weed in Georgia. You can't get arrested for anything. Excuse me, even misdemeanors, man. Like, you can't get arrested for, like, anything. Obviously, you got to pass drug tests. You can't go nowhere without getting approval. You got to pay $39 a month of the monthly fee or whatever. You got to check in, do all, like, when you move, you got to let them know this. Change the address, you got to let them know this. It's like you're being monitored your whole entire life for 30 years. Now, granted, they could cut it short. They could shorten it. They can make you put you on monitoring or whatever, to where maybe you only got a call and you don't have to come actually report. But it's just another way to keep you in the system, man. And you just continue to pay money. You continue to be monitored, and it just continues to lock up people over and over again for the smallest stuff. And then when you get arrested, it's not like you're going to go in front of a judge real quick. It's people, bro. It was people when I was locked up that was in there on probation. It took them 45 to 60 days to see a judge sometimes. Maybe the earliest you'll get in within 30, or at the tail end of 30. But a lot of times people will sit in there 45 days, 60 days to see a judge, and then a judge might give you a probation bond. Then you got to bond out on a probation bond. So that's even more money. So that probation, man, is just another way the government and the legal system just ties you up. So I'm going to do my time. So I'm going to do a crime. You're going to give me a prison sentence. And then when I get out, you're going to put me on probation and even punish me even more. So these people be taking prison sentences of like a 30 do 20, which means you're 20 years in prison. The other 10 years, you're on papers. And for those 10 years, you're being monitored, paying. Now, you got to pay the other 10 years that when you get out. You got 10 years to pay, $39 a month, but you've been locked up for 20 years. You're already having a hard time getting your life in order, and they already forcing you to pay $39 a month. It's just another bill in a situation where you already struggling. And I just don't, it's just another ripoff, man. Just some stuff, some people, approved or whatever, old government laws or whatever approved. And it's just, that's just the way the criminal justice system is. It's hard to get a plea without probation. It's just hard. And, when you're 20 years old and you've like been in a legal system or you're in trouble, to think you're going to go another 30 years without getting in trouble again, and you already mischievous and you already come from an impoverished neighborhood and you're a product of your surroundings, it's just not likely to happen. Could you flip the switch and do a complete 180 and never get in trouble again, only get like parking tickets and stuff like that? Yeah, it's possible. But the chance of that is so slow. That's why people just reoccurring getting in the prison system over and jail system over and over again. And a lot of it is due to probation, bro. It's just due to probation. So when I see these probation deals they giving out, that junk is actually wild, man. It's actually wild. So he was telling me about the case. And the Thug situation is kind of interesting because, so they arrested Thug kind of out the blue. You know, they raided his house one random day and they arrested him. What really happened in Thug case is they already had other YSL members arrested in jail for other stuff, for other crimes. And they started to build this Rico case behind the scenes, starting with the people that are already locked up. So when you come to jail, they find out you're a gang member. They see the tattoos. They see all this stuff. Check your social media, all this stuff. See the tattoos. They take pictures. And that's how they can find out what gang you in. Because a lot of people have that stuff all over their face, have it on their body or whatever, have stars and crowns and all this kind of stuff. And then they already know you in the gang. And then they start trying to figure out a way to break. You got to see like a gang task force. And they try to figure out a way to break that enterprise. So they started working on this YSL situation behind the scenes with people that are in jail. So they were already telling. Then they were able to build a case, get a warrant, arrest Thug. And when Thug got locked up, they just wanted Thug. So they used those people that were in jail along with other YSL members that got arrested along with Thug, turned them, flipped them so that they can get Thug at the end of the day. And that's really kind of what ended up happening. And it ain't looking too good. I gotta be honest with you. Maybe there's, maybe you can get a hung juror or something like that. You do gotta get every juror to pretty much say you're guilty. And I know he got a lot of his charges dropped. I think he's only facing 8 charges now, but any charge he gets convicted of is 20 years in prison at least. If he gets convicted of the murder, it'll be life in prison. So yeah, he's facing a lot, man. He got a lot of witnesses testifying on him about rental cars that he rented for like crimes and money that he paid to stash people off and have people lay low and all kind of stuff. He got a lot of stuff. My lawyer also said Gunna is definitely going to have to testify. The way they wrote his plea agreement was to try to make it seem like he wasn't snitching, but he's going to have to testify. The way it's written is he's going to have to be very truthful to stuff that he already said. He already said YSL is a gang. He already said he was part of the record label side and not the gang side, that they are already doing crimes. And he also said that, he talked about drugs and stuff and the car was not his or whatever. He's going to have to be truthful and end up just snitching. That's just what it is. It's already like part of his agreement. And my lawyer said that he feel like he's definitely going to get subpoenaed to court to testify.
I don't know nobody else out here speaking to you like this, or you got anybody around you who really know what the fuck going on. But I'm telling you, bro, it don't look good. It really don't. Shit, man, going up there and do that time, come on home, man. Fuck that shit. Get your 120 months. I'm telling you, though, that shit'll you be home in 60 months. Georgia, y'all got 65%. You got paper. You gonna have a fat canteen. Come on, man. You ain't gonna miss nothing out here.
I just want the best outcome for people. If you're innocent, you're innocent. If you're guilty, you're guilty. It just is what it is. And the legal system is so wild, man. It's so easy to get caught up in stuff. And the way they charge you is just amazing. You would never think like everyday stuff you do can turn into a crime that you don't even think. All by the letter of the law. That's really important, man. It's the letter of the law. They write these laws so that they can damn near charge you with so much stuff. That's how you come in and get overcharged. And then they already know they can't really prosecute you on half that stuff. So then they overcharge you, force you to get a high bond, Maybe you can bond out, maybe you can't. And then later on, they'll drop you down to probably what they feel like they really can. Like, just think about this. Let's just say you got in an argument with a female, right? You and a female arguing and she's like, I want to leave. And you like, no, I don't want you to leave. And you like block the door because you know how like you get mad and you may want her to talk. Like, no, we gonna work this out. I want you gonna talk. Let's talk it out before you leave or whatever. I don't want you to leave until we talk it out. Let's just say an hour later the police are called. If she tells them that you blocked that door, that is false imprisonment. You false imprison her. When you think about false imprisonment, you think of like somebody being tied up in a box in the basement downstairs, false imprison. You got somebody locked away in a shed out back, false imprison. That's what you think about false imprisonment. If you in a car and you arguing with a dude or you arguing with a female or something, they tell you that they want to get out and you like, no, I don't want to let you out here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You on a dark road. I ain't gonna feel safe letting you out. No, I want to get out. Let me out of the car. I don't want to talk to you no more. No, I ain't letting you out. And you drive. Let's just say an hour later, police get called for whatever reason. Something else happened to y'all. Police get called. If she tells them or he tells them that you refuse to pull over and let them out the car, then technically by the letter of the law, you transferred them from point A to point B against their will. And that's kidnapping. So when you think of kidnapping, you think of Amber Alert. You think of somebody snatching up somebody, throwing them in a van and taking off. You know what I'm saying? You think about all kind of stuff that you see in the movies, but really kidnapping can be something as simple as you and your girl arguing in a car and she want to get out and you be like, just let me out now. Y'all be on the highway. You be like, I ain't letting you out on the highway. You tripping. I just walk. I don't want to be in here no more. You don't do it. Somehow the police get called and she complaining you ain't let her out. And now you kidnapped her. And all you did was try to take her to an exit so she can get out, not on the highway, but a place that's safe. Terroristic threats is another crime. Nigga, I'll burn your house down. You just talking, maybe mad. I'll shoot you. Keep talking that shit. Or whatever one nigga say, I'll bust a cap in your ass. A lot of niggas say that, right? That's a threat. It's a terroristic threat. It ain't like you think terroristic threats, you think of stuff like I'm going to blow up an airplane or something. It ain't that kind of terroristic. A terroristic threat is if I threaten your life or I threaten to do bodily harm to you in a type of way like that. I was in court. This dude was in there on terroristic threats. He didn't told his girl, man, that nigga come over here again. I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. That's what he telling his girl. That nigga in there on a whole felony of terroristic threats. He had a low bond. Bond was on like $7,000 or something. It was a real low bond. But that's a felony though. It's a felony. The letter of the law can really get you trapped in the criminal justice system. And that's why they can overcharge you for so many stuff. You could rob let me see what you can rob. Let's just say you rob a convenience store and they got 3 people in there, right? And maybe they got 2 people that's a customer. They got 1 cashier and that's it. So you rob the store. So you point the gun at the 2 people that's a customer. Stand right there, don't move. Then you point the gun at the cashier. Give me all the money, and then you leave. The fact that you pointed that gun at 3 different people, they can charge you with 3 counts of robbery. And robbery already can be like 20 years of life in prison. Now you got 3 counts of that, so now you're facing 60 years. And all you did was 1 robbery. You robbed 1 person, but because you pointed a gun at 3 different people, they can charge you for each person. The law is just really like tricky, man. You can just get a lot of charges. And sometimes you have to stay down in order to win cases. You go to jail, it breaks you down, you feel like giving up, and you got to stay down. You got to really like do your best to try to like fight the system, especially if you feel like you're innocent. You can't really cave unless that's just a very, very last resort. But you can't really cave because the system will break you down. And then the only way you'll know, like a district attorney never lets you really know that your case is bad. So the whole time they'll be like, oh, we got witnesses. They said all kind of stuff. You know, in my case, it was just 2 people. It was just me and her. But how you got witnesses and what nobody but me and her there? You know what I'm saying? But they were like, oh, we got witnesses that saw you. We got witnesses to do this. Like they were trying to say all kind of stuff, but then like when it came time for like witnesses to come to court, they couldn't produce any witnesses. So it's just like they just say that, it messes up your bond. It makes you look more like a menace. It just be like false stuff because they're not under oath, so they're not required to really be honest. That's why people can just lie. They can be like, oh, we got this hair from the victim. You ever seen like an interrogation room and they be like, oh, we got this, see this hair right here? And it'd be like in a plastic bag. We got this off the victim. So, and we matched it with the DNA and it was yours, right? We all see that in a movie. This might not even be their hair. This might not even be your hair. They're not required to tell the truth. Not at that point. They actually can lie and try to bait you into like doing a confession or something. They don't have to be honest, man, until they raise their right hand and get on a witness stand. All that bond hearing, talking, all that, that's way before raising your right hand. So they can really embellish stuff. They can say all kind of stuff that is just not true. And they did a lot of that with my case. And a lot of times they'll make it seem like they got a really good case. And you'll be thinking, wow. But until you get to the end, and I mean to the very end, they'll drag a case all the way out, bro, before they really just let it go. And until you get to the end, that's when you really know where deep down inside, you may know you're innocent and you know the case weak, but it's not until the end where you finally get vindicated from that. I saw a dude, so there was this dude that was right next to me. He was a little Spanish dude. He was in there for murder and they offered him a plea and he turned the plea down. They said, okay, you're going to pick your jury on Monday. Monday came and they dropped this whole case. And they just really didn't have the ability to take him to trial. I don't know if they didn't have the witnesses. I don't know what it was. They just didn't have the ability to take him to trial. So, but they didn't tell him that. They couldn't take him to trial, but literally was going to be okay with him taking a 20-year plea, knowing that they don't really have the ability to take him to trial. And that's what they'll do. If you innocent, you got to like stay down. And unfortunately, staying down means sometimes going to trial and losing. You have a right to a jury trial, but when you exercise it, they punish you. You know what I'm saying? They just punish you, and then you end up getting a max. So you end up getting that. When Young Thug get through with all this, he get found guilty getting a max. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody could, like a judge could probably give Young Thug on one of these RICO counts. They could probably give him 10 years, 15 years, 12 years. Watch, he lose trial, they're gonna give him 20 on that RICO. That's the max on the RICO. They're gonna give him 20. So that's the thing. They just max you out. So the criminal justice system, I'm so glad I got out of it, man. I'm so glad I got out of jail because that junk is just not for anybody. I count my blessings every day, man. You know what I'm saying? It was just today I sent one of my old bunkmates. He actually in prison right now. He took a plea. I sent him a book just because like sometimes you just gotta keep people's head up. You just gotta read. You gotta like keep your head low, stay out of trouble. I sent him a book. Like, man, I ain't sent him, but I always put money on his commissary though. But I sent him a book, and it's just something nice to do, man. Because you don't ever want to really forget kind of what you went through and just trying to help people. And me and him was close a lot of days, man. We sat out there talking about when the hell we gonna get out of jail. And when I got out and he was still in there, and then he was in there through the whole pandemic, and he wasn't going to court, and then courts reopened, and he still wasn't going to court. And he calling me, and he's like, man, Chris, man, I just wanted it to be over. I just wanted it to be over. And I was trying to tell him, man, just stick in there and go to trial. But he took a plea. You know what I'm saying? He just took a plea. But he didn't. He had a appellate defender, so he didn't really have a real lawyer that he felt like would fight for him. That's a whole nother problem too. But these plea deals, man, they really set Thug up. These people just really snitched on him. Y'all hearing about the snitching right now because they actually are coming to trial and talking about it. They already was working on these guys behind the scenes in interviews and stuff before they even arrested Thug. That's how they was able to build a case. They didn't have Thug arrested. They arrested him and then charged him. They had these other YSL people already in jail building a case behind the scenes. And I don't know, man. And there's been a lot of talk about, oh yeah, Thug, you know, he was keeping it real. Like he the only nigga that stood down. He ain't take a plea. He ain't do nothing. He didn't snitch. He stood down. He the only real nigga. That nigga wasn't offered a plea. You know what I'm saying? We don't really know if Thug would have took a plea or not. Right now, he got over 100 people, witnesses. He got a bunch of people testifying against him. He might want to take a plea right now. because it ain't looking good. Maybe you can get a hung juror. Maybe he'll find a fan like, oh, you know, Thug is my favorite artist, and they don't want to, you know, they don't want to vote for him or something, because it'd be all kind of jurors, it'd be young jurors, old jurors, the whole nine. So somebody might be a Thug fan and don't want to do it, but you got so many people testifying against him to think all you need is one charge, bro. One charge, and that's 20 years. And you probably do like 65% of that time, maybe get out in like 12 years or something. But if they was, if they offered him a plea, a 20 do 10 years in jail, 20 years probation, or you know what I'm saying? He might, that might be something to consider taking. I don't know. He's up against a lot.
I don't know nobody else out here speaking to you like this, or you got anybody around you who really know what the fuck going on. But I'm telling you, bro, it don't look good. It really don't. Shit, man, going up there and do that time, come on home, man. Fuck that shit. Get your 120 months. I'm telling you, Thug, you be home in 60 months. Georgia, y'all got 65%.
When you got damn near half your whole gang turned against you, I can't really say Young Thug is just a real nigga. He just ain't really got offered a plea. We don't really know if he would have caved or not, to be honest with you. His lawyers might have been advising him, you better take this 10 years, because if you get hit with that murder, they're going to give you life. And then they be like telling you all kind of stuff to like make you want to take a plea. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, you know, your kid is 4. So if you take a 10-year plea, it'll be 14 and you'll be able to see your kid. You be thinking, damn, yeah, you're right. Otherwise, life in prison, you end up doing like 30 years before parole. They be like, man, your kid might not even be living when you get out. You know what I'm saying? Your kid could be 40 years old, 35 years old. There's no guarantee your child gonna be living. Think about your mama. Your mama 55. Your mama 60. You want to see her before she die? Take this 10. She'll be 70 when you get out. If you lose trial, she'll be dead. You be sitting around there like the way they be spinning it, bro. The way these lawyers be trying to get you to take a plea. Like when you got like a public defender and stuff like that. That's how they be spinning it.
Chris, Wyatt. Man, subscribe to the channel, man. Don't be a hater your whole life. Chris Wyatt.